power, debt, and the inevitable collapse of empires. Imagine this. The year is 1944. Delegates from 44 Allied nations gather at the Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. In secrecy, they are about to make a decision that will shape the global economy for the next 80 years. Britain, the world's financial superpower for more than 2 centuries, is bankrupt. Its national debt has surged to nearly 250% of GDP. 2 world wars have drained its wealth. The empire that once ruled the seas can no longer govern itself. Everyone in that room knows one simple truth. This moment has happened before, and it will happen again. Because global financial power never disappears, it changes hands. That day the world did something rare, yet historically familiar. It transferred global reserve currency status from one empire to another, from the British pound to the American dollar. This was not just a financial agreement. It was the continuation of a cycle that has repeated for more than 5 centuries, a predictable pattern. Rise, peak, overextension, collapse. Every global reserve currency has followed this path. And today, the US dollar is showing the same warning signs that appeared when the currencies before it entered decline. To understand what lies ahead, we must return to where it all began. The first reserve currency, Portugal, 1450 to 1530. In 1450, the Portuguese real became the world's first true reserve currency. Portugal did not rise by accident. In 1453, the fall of Constantinople cut off the old overland trade routes to Asia. Most European powers were trapped. Portugal found a way out. They dramatically advanced ocean navigation. They discovered new sea routes around Africa. They connected Europe to Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Lisbon became the center of global trade. The Portuguese real was accepted across continents. For nearly 80 years, Portugal dominated global commerce. Then the familiar mistake was repeated. Military outposts spread across 4 continents, rising costs, growing competition from Spain, Britain, and the Netherlands. A royal succession crisis weakened the state. In 1580, Portugal was absorbed by Spain. Its currency's dominance ended. The cycle moved on. Spain and the Silver Empire, 1530 to 1640, Spain's rise was built on something never seen before, silver. In 1545, Potosi in the Bolivian Andes was discovered. For nearly a century, it produced almost half of the world's silver. Spain minted the famous pieces of 8. These coins became the first truly global currency. The Spanish dollar was trusted across continents, and even served as legal tender in the United States until 1857. Spain dominated global finance for more than 110 years. Then the cycle repeated. Endless wars, massive debts, repeated defaults. Spain defaulted 4 times, 1557, 1560, 1575, 1596. Silver flooded the economy, inflation spiraled out of control, prices quadrupled. When silver production slowed to a halt, the system collapsed. By the mid-1600s, Spain's financial dominance was over. The Dutch Financial Revolution, 1640 to 1720. The Dutch did not rule by conquering land through war. They ruled through finance. Amsterdam became the world's financial center. The Dutch guilder became Europe's reserve currency. The Dutch invented the world's first stock exchange, modern insurance, tradable shares, advanced banking systems. For nearly 80 years, more than a third of global trade was conducted in Dutch currency. Then overextension arrived. costly wars with Britain, the collapse of the Dutch East India Company, the treasury went bankrupt. Once again, the cycle continued. Britain, the longest reign, 1720 to 1944. Britain's power rested on industry, empire, and gold. The British pound remained the world's most important currency for over 200 years, longer than any other in modern history. London became the heart of global finance. By 1922, Britain ruled 1/5 of humanity. It controlled 1/4 of the world's landmass. Its power seemed unbreakable. Then came the wars. World War I multiplied Britain's debt tenfold. World War II delivered the final blow. By 1945, government debt had reached 270% of GDP. Britain won the war, but lost financial leadership. The dollar era, 1944 to present. Bretton Woods formalized the transition. The dollar replaced the pound. All major currencies were tied to the dollar. The dollar was tied to gold. In 1971, the gold link was severed. The dollar was shaken but did not fall, because it anchored itself to oil. The petrodollar system guaranteed global demand for dollars. For decades, dollar dominance went unquestioned. At its peak, more than 70% of global reserves were held in dollars. Today, that share is declining. Foreign demand for U.S. treasuries is falling. Alternative payment systems are rising. Military spending and debt are exploding. U.S. debt has now surpassed 120% of GDP. History does not need to guess what comes next. It has already shown us many times before. The 4 stages, always the same. 1. Rise. Innovation creates dominance. 2. Peak. The currency becomes nearly universal. 3. Overextension. Debt. War. Stagnation. 4. Collapse. Trust fades. Power shifts. Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands, Britain, all followed this path. The US dollar is now in its 81st year of dominance. What is the historical average? Roughly 95 years. Final thought. This is not a prophecy. This is not a conspiracy. This is a cycle. Empires do not collapse because they are evil. They collapse because mathematics eventually overrides belief. History does not repeat itself exactly, but it carries striking similarities, and if those similarities hold once again, we are approaching the final years of dollar dominance. If you want to understand money, power, and history not as they are taught in textbooks, but as they actually work, subscribe. Because when the next transition arrives, understanding this cycle will no longer be a choice. It will be a matter of survival.